What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys a quick unboxing of the Sony Xperia XA Ultra. Now this is actually a phone that I was not planning on picking up and doing a review on, but I saw such a great deal on it I had to pick it up. Amazon had this phone bundled with a 64GB micro SD card, a Sony 64GB micro SD card, which is a pretty good quality card, for $289, which is just a crazy deal for picking up the phone. The phone retailed for $369.99 at its launch, and it just launched like 10 days ago. So to have the phone discounted plus a 64GB SD card so heavily right at launch, I had to pick it up. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing, show some size comparisons. The main thing I want to compare this to is the Xiaomi Mi Max, which I just did a full review on. So you guys can check out a comparison video coming up soon on this phone. This is a 6-inch phone. Now, one thing to note, a couple other tech YouTubers noticed this as well. This box actually came without the plastic wrap on it, which is sort of a concern. I actually got my Xperia Z5 last year, which I imported from the UK. It also came this way, so I'm wondering if that's just something that happens with the Sony devices. A couple other people said they might be a refurbished unit. My unit looks untouched, but we'll go ahead and take a look, and I might contact Amazon about that just as a little heads up. So I haven't actually touched the device yet. There is actually no plastic wrap on the outside of the box. Now you do got some plastic wrap on the device itself in here, as you guys can see. You've got some dual SIM information, which I don't really need. I'm aware of how that works. And then inside the box, you've got typical stuff, startup guide stuff that we don't need. You do have a power brick right here. Now this is going to be micro USB. This is not going to be USB Type-C. So this is a USB Type. This is not a USB Type-C cable. This is a micro USB cable. Plastic always trolling me on the cables. So if we go ahead and get that off, you guys can see right there, micro USB. Don't really need that cable because, as you guys know, I got a ton of them. So nothing too interesting in the box. You kind of expect that for such a good mid-tier price on the phone. Here's the device itself. Let's go ahead and just take it out of the plastic. Give you guys a quick tour of it while I boot it up. You can see it does have a screen protector right here on the front of the device. Let's go ahead and peel it off. Everybody loves that sound right there. So now we've got the device completely unboxed. You got a power button there on the side right there, and the volume buttons are actually below the power button. I find that a little weird. You can see the power button is a different shape than the volume button, which is kind of nice. You do have a dedicated camera button as well. I'm going to go ahead and boot it up while we're waiting. Now, one nice thing about this phone is you do have a front LED flash in the front camera there. Of course, there are some sacrifices. You've got a MediaTek processor in here, so I'm really interested to see how that performs. You do have 3 GB of RAM, and you also have 16 GB of onboard storage, but you do have that micro SD support again. Once again, on the bottom there, you can see you've got your speaker, you've got your micro USB port for charging. So overall, a really nice looking device. Again, something I don't like. You got a headphone port up top. Not a big fan of that. It does have an HD LCD IPS display. You do have, again, LED flash on the back as well, which is really, really nice. I'll be excited to get into the cameras on this phone because it is a phone that's, again, in that sort of mid-tier category, right at $369.99 retail. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through the startup materials here, and then we'll take a quick tour of the software before I do some size comparisons on the phone itself. All right, so I went ahead and set up the device. I just skipped through the initial setup. Don't have my SIM card in there yet. Just wanted to show you guys the UI. Now, Sony's done some refinement this year to make things a little bit more fluid, a little more stock. So I'm excited to get a look at that. You see, you do have some pre-installed apps. You got Amazon, you got Facebook, you've got the PlayStation apps, which you would expect, of course, from Sony. I don't think there's too much more bloatware on here, just the basic Sony apps. You can see you do have an FM radio there, which is a question that sometimes people have something they want to know about. So you get SwiftKey keyboard on board, but you can see that the swipe down menu is pretty much like stock Android. Let me go ahead and turn up the brightness a little bit. The brightness on there is not too nice. So the swipe down's a bit like stock Android, as you guys can see. If you go into the settings, let's just check out the software. And here you can also see just a little bit of tweaks that Sony has made to the software overall, and should be running Android 6.0.1. Let's go ahead and just check that and make sure. It's actually running Android 6.0 out of the box, as you guys can see. I thought it was 6.0.1. It's got the May security patch here. So it is running a fairly stock build of Android, some light customizations from Sony. Let's see how much we've got out of the box for the overall storage. So apparently you have to go to the Advanced tab to see your actual used storage. You've got 7.48 gigabytes used out of 16 gigabytes. That's pretty terrible. So you're only left with 8.52 gigabytes out of the box. You're definitely going to need a micro SD card if you're going to use this phone. Otherwise, everything seems to be pretty fluid. I'll have to test, some gaming, etc., to see how this MediaTek processor handles. But otherwise, it doesn't seem too bad out of the box. You do have in here a pretty small battery, actually, considering the screen. You've got a 2800 milliamp hour battery, considering it's a 6-inch screen, but it's not 2K or anything, so it might be perfectly fine. Overall, it seems like a pretty nice value. You've got a really nice build quality to the phone. It feels like metal, even though I believe the back is plastic. You've got metal here around the sides. You've got metal for the power button as well. A lot of people like that dedicated camera button, which is also a nice thing to have. It is a little slick on the back, but throw a case on here, it's not going to be too bad. I like the black color. I think the lime gold color looks actually pretty terrible. Anyway, let's give away some quick size comparisons before we go. Again, I'm going to have a full comparison to the Xiaomi Mi Max in another video. This is the Galaxy Note 5, so the Xperia XA Ultra should be quite a bit bigger, and you guys can see that it is indeed. So you can see quite a bit taller, as you would expect. And I don't know, it's not, well, the Galaxy Note 5 is a little bit thinner, and of course the XA is going to be quite a bit wider because you've got that 6-inch screen. So it is bigger in every way possible. We have just for fun, you've got the Galaxy S7 Edge. Of course, this phone's going to be much bigger in terms of height, in terms of width, and also in terms of its overall thickness. So that was just because that is my #1 favorite phone right now. And here's the big one, the Xiaomi Mi Max. The Mi Max is going to be bigger. It's got the 6.44-inch screen, but you can see the Xperia XA Ultra is no slouch. It's just a little bit shorter than the Mi Max, which is hard to fit in the full frame. The XA Ultra is, I don't know, they're similar in thickness, I guess, because the XA's got sort of the Mi Max has got a bit of a curve to the back. And of course, you can see the Mi Max quite a bit wider because it does have that 6.44-inch screen. All right, so I will have a full comparison of these two phones. So if you guys are interested in seeing a comparison of the Mi Max versus the XA Ultra, I'm going to just open that one so you can see the two screens here at the end. If you guys are interested in seeing a comparison of these two phones, stay tuned. I will have a full comparison of these two in a separate video comparing the screen quality, the speed, whatever else I can think of, battery life, anything else you guys want to see compared about these two, drop me a comment below. I'll be happy to get to it. You guys can also find me at dopetechdaily.com, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter at the links in the description. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy my content. Appreciate you checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.